Welcome back to the Triple Play Fantasy YouTube channel. I am your host, Kevin Coleman, at @theboys_22. And this is another edition of my devy 2022 breakdowns. So if you missed the last ones, I covered quarterbacks, the top 5 quarterbacks 2022 class. I cut top 5 running backs, top 5 wide receivers. And now, of course, we got to finish with my favorite position, top 5 tight ends. I know tight ends aren't the best, the best position to go over. I think us diehard people love it, but there's some others out there that think tight ends don't matter. But I am not one of those people. And we're gonna take a look at the top 5, and we're gonna be looking here. I got to give a shout out to my guy Cade Otton. We're gonna talk about him. He's not number one. I'm not that crazy, but we're gonna look at this, and depending on where you're at in your leagues and who you're getting, if it's tight end premium or not, if you're in C2C league or not, like who are the guys that you should be looking at. And I'm going to, like always, go over some film, some tape. What do they have? Numbers. Go over a couple guys that I want you guys to keep an eye on, because I think that they are pretty good, and I think that we should be giving them a shout out. So you know what? Let's dive in. And my tight end one is Jalen Wydermyer. I don't think it can be anybody else. In terms of like what he has accomplished at Texas A&M. Came from a 3-star guy. He was supposed to be the backup at the Baylor Cup. He's become that dude this last 2 years. He's 6'5", 255. His 2020 stats: 46 receptions, 506 yards, and 6 touchdowns. His career, he has 78 catches, 950 yards, and 12 touchdowns. He is just a very, very, very solid prospect. And my buddy Debbie Kane likes to talk about how just put Wydermyer and that's it. There's other guys, but yeah, Wydermyer is a tight end one of this class. He's shown it. He has good hands. He's got good strength, good physicality. He can catch it over the middle, takes shots like that one, and be able to hold on to the ball. He's a red zone mismatch. He scored, like we said, 12 touchdowns already in college. He is hard to cover if you're a corner or safety because of his size, and he's got some speed. He has some quickness. He's got good release. You see it right there. I mean, I think that this play is a little underrated for him. You'll see him down in line, right? So we're gonna be looking at him here. He's an inline guy, comes off the line very quickly. He's able to find an open zone, boom, gets it, catches, and able to fall into that road. So I think that he does a good job of finding the areas of the defense where he needs to sit. He has that yards ability. He's got the hands ability. He's got that yak ability. I like everything about him. I think that Jalen can be that guy in the future. I like everything that he has. I think he's a clear-cut tight end one of this class. But I do think that it's the gap's not as big as people want to say. I think he's very good. I think he has that prospect. Now, is he a round 1 talent? I don't think so. I don't think there's any round 1 talents in this draft class. Maybe late round 1, but in terms of rookie picks, those type of things, I'm out. I don't think that we're looking at any of these guys, even in tight end premium, as being round 1 assets. I just don't see it. Now, my next guy is Cade Otton, and I know I'm on the outlier on this. I think someone has him like as their 12th rated tight end, PFF maybe. I love Cade Otton, everything he has. 6'5", 250, kid out of Washington. 2020 stats: 18 receptions, 258 yards, and 3 touchdowns in I think they played 4 or 5 games in the Pac-12 level last year because of COVID. You know what? The thing I love about Cade is that, first of all, he steps up as an excellent blocker. Like, he's not going to need to learn how to block. He does it already. He does that well. He's developed into that blocking tight end. He has hands. He's consistent. You see him play. He can get into the open zone. He's a pretty good route runner. He finds the seam very well. He finds open zones. He has intangibles. He does all the things that you like to see from a tight end, and you'll see it here in the ability to catch, end zone. He's got great hands. He's that safety valve, and so I think he's going to do very good at Washington. He's going to be that safety valve guy that comes in, can make catches. There's a realistic possibility that Cade Otton can be the maybe number 2 option. I don't want to say number 1. I was close, but Jalen McMillan's there and other places. They've had a lot of transfers from that Washington program at the wide receiver room. Why can't Cade Otton be the second leading target getter? And if he is, we could be talking about him having 500-600 yards, a few touchdowns, maybe 6-7 touchdowns. Now we're talking about a tight end asset, and I think he's a top 5 guy. I do. I think he's going to fit a very good role in the NFL. Easy comp for me is Jason Witten. He finds the ability to find the open zone. He's not overly fast, but he can still get the yards after the catch. He's just a very solid tight end. He can block, those type of things. Like, he's legit, and I like him. And I think he's my tight. And I don't think I know he's my tight end too. Just keep an eye on him. I think he's getting vastly underrated out here in the devy community and places. I know that his age kind of worries people, but he was a high producer in high school. He comes from a background of football. His dad was a head coach. He has great pedigree. Like, there's a lot of things I love about Cade. So keep an eye on him. Now, my tight end 3 is my guy Charlie Kolar from Iowa State. Now, he's 6'6", 260, big kid. 2020 stats, he had 44 receptions, 591 yards, and 7 touchdowns. His career stats, he had 106 receptions, 1,400 yards, and 17 touchdowns. Absolutely a very productive player. I was actually very surprised that Charlie did not come out this year. I thought if he did, he could have, based on what happened in the draft and what it looked like, he could have been tight end 2 of this class. Now he goes back. I think there's some question marks about him. I think some things have kind of raised some concern about him. But when you watch his tape, I think he's a solid guy. Like, he's a solid tight end. That's the thing about a lot of these tight ends in this class. They're very solid. They don't always pop. They don't always do those things. He creates mismatches with his size at 6'6", 250, especially with his athleticism, or 260. He's okay blocker. He does need to improve it a little bit. I think he can get exposed a little bit by some bigger guys, especially, and so quicker to the end. So I think there's some things that he's got to work on there. But as far as the receiver goes, he's got great hands. He's a capable route runner, runs a very good seam route up the middle, 50-50 balls, able to do that, able to catch balls in traffic. He does that. Now, what does he lack? Like I said, blocking a little bit, lack of athleticism and speed, big time. Like, that's the big thing. Now, he can catch, he can do those things, but his lack of athleticism is something that really kind of glaringly pops, where it's like, hey, where the NFL is translating to those open offenses, tight ends being a little bit more athletic, and he can't block. That concerns me. But he's able to create mismatches. He has hands. I think he can find a role. He's probably, maybe 4th round. I would say 3rd or 4th round talent right now. Now, if he comes back, has a great year at there, and he's at over 1,400 yards receiving. So it's not like in his career he hasn't been great. I just would have rather seen him come out last year. I think that's my biggest concern with him. Now, one guy that I've been on since he turned tight end is Cole Turner, and I've been on before it was cool. 6'6", 240 kid out of Nevada, who I have a dark horse to make a New Year's Six Bowl this year. 2020 stats, he had 49 receptions, 605 yards, and 9 touchdowns. I absolutely love this kid. I don't know why people hate him. Alfred, my co-partner over at Campus Can, doesn't like him very much, but that's all right. And I think that he's a converted wide receiver. I think he gained 30 pounds of muscle last offseason to come in to play tight end. That shows me commitment. That shows me that he knows he wants to do it and he get out there. He's excellent in the slot. He's versatile because he used to be a wide receiver. He's a great route runner too because he used to be a wide receiver. He can catch it over there, 50-50 balls. Dude's athletic as hell. You just see that catch right here. He's able to get up, go get it, hold on to the ball. I think that he sets himself up. He has great mismatches, size, red zone, those type of things, and you'll see that good. He has good hands too because he was a wide receiver. I'm just going to keep saying that so everybody knows. So route running, 50-50 balls, athletic, those are the things. Now, I will say he's got to learn the position a little bit better, and I think having that second year is definitely going to help this year. He's playing with Carson Strong, who could be a round 1 quarterback. We talked about him in the top 5 quarterbacks already. I think that's going to help him. I see his production going up. You'll see it here, though. He has the ability. And this is kind of a kid that you're like, man, this kid is the kind of prototypical tight end in the next level. And he is. I think he's going to come out this year. I think that he has a chance to be a very, very solid pick. I could even see him being my tight end 3, to be honest. Now that I'm talking about this, they're very close and similar. I like everything about him. Now, he's got to improve his blocking as well. You can see in their offense, they split him out a lot. Not a whole lot of inline blocking, those things. So, I think some people are worried about where does he fit within the NFL system. If can he block? Can he do those things? I think he can, but he can also be a versatile kid. Maybe they do kind of a hybrid type H-back where they have him play wide receiver and tight end. But you'll notice it there. He can make catches. He does a good job. He has good hands. He's versatile. Those type of athletes I like at that position, especially with there's some scarcity at that tight end position. Maybe he can step up and get that draft capital we like to see. Now, my 5th guy is Greg Dulcich from UCLA. This is kind of an outlier to me, but I like what I see from his tape. It's 6'4", 245. He's done pretty good at UCLA. 2020 stats, he had 26 receptions, 517 yards, and 5 touchdowns last year. And he showed that he was a vertical threat. And so this is a kid that has that vertical threat ability. And a UCLA offense that doesn't really, they throw the ball a little bit, but it's, they've been struggling in the last couple of years, let's be honest. But you know what? He showed well against USC. You'll see it here. He's got the speed, and you see that. Yak ability, vertical threat. That's the biggest thing. He's got speed. He's got yak ability, vertical threat, those type of things. He's got good hands. He catches over the middle and the sidelines. I like his hands from everything that I can see as a tight end. He does that well. He sees the ball in, doesn't body catch, hands catch. I like that. Now, to me, when you're looking at what is he as a prospect, he's a little undersized, right? So at that size that he has at 6'4", 245, not the biggest guy. Can he kind of duplicate what he did last year in the Pac-12? I hope so. And you look at those numbers that he had last year; that was in the Pac-12. So now we're talking about legitimate. He could be the number one option at UCLA team, to be honest. And they're going to target him, and he's going to get the target. So keep an eye on him. Now, some guys that maybe fall out of the top 5 for me that I think could have a chance to get back in there. Austin Stogner from Oklahoma, 6'6", 262. I think in that Oklahoma offense, with his production that he sees this year, we could be talking about him being in this top 5. I love Austin Stogner. I'm a big believer in him by his value right now. I think he could be there. Another guy that I really do like and that I think that, could step up this year. My guy, Trey McBride from Colorado State. He's 6'4", he's 260, but Colorado State product. He's Mountain West product, so a little unheard of, but he's good. Take a look at him. I think that we're going to be talking about him as being one of those sleepers that we talk about when fantasy football drafts come along. And right now would be a good time to go. Isaac Rex from BYU, the 6'6", 243 kid. Now, who is he after Zach Wilson left? Can he step up? That's always going to be the question mark for me about him. And then Hudson Henry, I'm not giving up on Hudson Henry. Hunter Henry's younger brother, Arkansas kid, 6'5", 230. Needs to get a little bit more size. I think he has his offseason. What can Arkansas be? But take a look at those tight ends. So I appreciate you doing it. As always, not as big as tight ends, but, there's some talent here. There's some diamonds in the rough. Be on the lookout from Baylor Cupp from Texas A&M. If he's healthy, he was number 1 tight end coming in this class. He's been injured 2 seasons in a row. Maybe that's the guy, right? So keep an idea. I think the tight end landscape shifts a lot. But, hey, Wydermyer is about as safe as a prospect as you can see in this class. And then my boy Cade Otton, everybody's sleeping on him. I really think that he's going to have a big year. So I appreciate you tuning in. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.